I wish it should have been a podcast. We have no idea what episode it is. We don't care. We're here to hang out. Tonight is not one of those trivia nights. If you just want to hear us bitch and moan and maybe teach a couple of things that maybe we've read from books that you haven't read from books yet, here we are tonight. I want to say hello to Paul and John.
Hi.
How you doing?
Yeah, I mean, you might consider some of these things barguments, but whatever. Let's let it
They
rip.
they very well could be arguments. So Clay Travis, let me start here. Said,
Oh
"Hey,
God. Yeah, I think
WNBA, I
we're headed
have
into
the money.
argument territory.
I have the money.
Oh,
I will start an expansion WNBA team. It will be the most inclusive team in the WNBA.
Stop.
Everybody who's trans will be allowed."
Oh,
And this is obviously arguments too. Sophie Cunningham, who said nothing political at all, just said something honest, is hey, boys shouldn't play in girls' sports, men shouldn't play in women's sports. So Clay Travis says, hey, listen, I will fill stadiums every
Yeah.
time with my team, and it will
right.
be full of the most inclusive trans people alive. Let's start talking there, fellas.
Well, I'd like to begin, and then I'll let you guys kick it around because I'm not going to say anything more than this. If anybody was surprised that the deep state picked Clay Travis to take Rush Limbaugh's time slot on radio, you just found out why. Okay?
No, I don't disagree with you there. I think
No. Sorry, Sean. Didn't
go
mean to
on,
interrupt.
please go.
No, say that again, JC. I didn't.
Well, Paul, Rush had really huge shoes to fill
No. Yeah,
from
that's right.
12 to 3 Eastern.
Yeah.
And I am certain that any number of people, Glenn Beck, perhaps even Tel Aviv Levin, I don't know, would have given their eye teeth, would have given their eye teeth for that time slot.
Yes.
And somehow or other, the powers that be decided that that prime time slot and those 20 million people that
Yeah.
normally tune in at that time
Right.
should go to Clay Travis and Deep
Buck
State
Sexton.
Buck Sexton. And I might have listened to it for 10 or 20 minutes and I never listened again. There's nothing there. Zero. I'd be better off listening to Hammer and Nigel on WIBC than listening to Clay Travis.
Well, Hammer and Nigel are pretty solid.
Well, I mean they're okay, but
They're
those
okay.
are big shoes.
Yeah.
Well, all right, hold on. I do not listen to that program. I have promoted somebody else. I don't get paid by it for the 12 to noon or the 12 noon to 3 slot. Tony Katz. You can find him on YouTube. You can find him anywhere. WIBC. That being said, JC, what I think Clay Travis made at this point he's making is solid. Is he said, I could put together a men's team that identify as women. And he said, we will win every single game. And he says, sometimes teams that play us won't even score.
Okay. Now that I have the context, I want to retract some of what I said.
Okay.
Just some of it. The point is if I thought he was serious, then he'd be subject to the full indictment. But the point still stands that Clay and Buck are not going to spark any sort of revolutionary ideas. That's where I'm at. Okay.
No.
Thank you
there's nothing wrong with
for
that.
allowing the
That's right.
clarification. And I don't know if he's right or wrong. I don't think there's any market for that. I don't.
I don't think there's a market for either. I think what his point was is if I bring back 50 and 60-year-old players like Dennis Rodman, right, who can't play in the NBA anymore because they aged out.
Yeah, they're just
Still beat the
He
girls.
goes that my
right.
team, my trans team of men playing in women's sports would crush any team currently in the league.
Bobby Riggs would agree.
JC, you motherfucker. That's pretty funny, bro.
Well, Paul, do you think they're going to start? I mean, it'd be the death of the league, we think, but would it be the death of the league? Are they going to start letting men play in the WNBA just because they identify as a girl and wear
No,
pigtails?
they're gonna.
How can
What's her
Sean?
name?
How can they stop them?
Yeah, no. What's her name? The Goodall of the WNBA has already said that.
Yeah. Well, man, I don't. How long will the actual NBA and all of their advertisers continue to subsidize it?
I'll be political in this answer as long as it makes sense to them.
So I partially agree with that, JC. And I would add on to what JC says. I think it'll be amenable as long as we still get sponsors to supplement the WNBA, which is already supplemented by the NBA,
Right.
and they do that kind of thing for what's the word, JC? No, not notoriety, but
For PR.
yeah, PR and
Yeah.
that kind of thing.
And Paul, I think the thing that we're all struggling with is that the WNBA is on the verge of a breakout. They
Yeah.
have an opportunity to have
Yeah,
a national audience where there are actually people that
right.
care about women's basketball. And they want none of it because the stars on the team are two beautiful white girls and they're not black and gay.
Right.
Because
Yeah.
that seems to be the ticket
But
into
what I
the into the
JC,
circle of honor in the WNBA is you have to be black and gay.
no, but what I don't understand, JC, is if you undercut all of the media bullshit, the black chicks on the Fever, they love Caitlyn. It's not a racial thing for them. They love Sophie Cunningham. Sophie Cunningham does a great job of promoting the other players, and so does Caitlyn. And that's illustrated by night before last when Caitlyn goes up to the 3-point slot and does a behind the back pass to a Negro, and she made the 3-point shot. And I'm being sarcastic, but you know what I mean.
No, Paul, they're
The
team players.
gals on the team don't even if they don't say it because they're afraid, they understand economics.
Well, that's true, but I want you to think about the depth of the conspiracy. When one of the black thugs that plays for Minnesota elbows Sophie in the jaw,
Oh,
and the referee calls the foul on Sophie
on
for
Sophie,
having
just turns a blind eye. Yeah.
her jaw elbowed. And I mean, they even reviewed it and confirmed the call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I've seen. I don't listen. Another. It's a sport I don't follow as much as other sports, and I follow sports very little. I just know one stat I saw. Hold on, was that Caitlin Clark is often close to technical following out of games. And you go, wait a minute, I see the clips online. How was that a technical foul against her? Right? And
That's
so
right.
you got the sports people. Clay Travis got rich, super rich, off sports, not off politics, right?
Well, he knows a lot. He knows a lot more about sports than he knows about politics.
He really likes the Democrats, and that's okay. He knows sports. Well, I don't. Dave Portnoy, he knows sports. He'll comment on it, and he goes,
Right.
What
He
the
likes
hell? What
Democrats
the hell
too.
was this? Right, but what the hell was this? Like, why? Why does Caitlin Clark get punched in the neck and then get a foul because she got punched in the neck? But it's not even just a foul; it's a technical foul.
Right.
Right? Like, there's no winning for the Fever at all. All they can do is just keep
Yeah.
their mouth shut and play basketball.
That's right. Shut up and color. Shut up and color.
Shut up and dribble. I think
Yeah.
that's the term.
Shut up and dribble. Yeah, that's right.
Just like when we tell rock stars like Bruce Springsteen to shut up and guitar.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Uh,
So, I was a self-taught guitar player. My bass player went to school.
Oh,
he went to
Juilliard, huh?
school and all that kind of stuff, right? And that was Sean, I got to tell you, that was his favorite thing. He was like, would you just shut up and play guitar? Because you don't know anything about what you're saying.
Yeah, play an F minor flat 6.
Yeah, and so you're playing a 6-string fretless, and I'm supposed to bow down to you? Well, I didn't know that at 19, but at 70, I'm like, that dude was badass.
Yeah, he
You
knew
know what I
it.
mean?
And if you all would have listened to him, you probably would have got a record deal. But
that was his aim. I got to tell you, Sean, that was his aim. If we would settle down, and what he envisioned was a kind of a jazzy rock.
well, it was kind of like a southern rock, but a jam band.
Yeah, like a jam band, like Little Feat, or
Oh, sure.
You know what I'm saying, with that kind of vibe, and we did a lot of those kind of songs, and we added a lot of keyboard into Eagles songs.
Color.
Yeah, and we added a lot of stuff to Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young, and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And but it just wasn't happening because we were young teenagers, and I was much more interested in blowjobs and quaaludes than I was having a record label contract.
Yeah, it's I started playing way younger than you professionally, and I will tell you that was a common problem, a common theme. But before we get way off topic,
there's nothing wrong with what Paul mentioned.
Yeah, no. I totally agree, and that's the downfall of a lot of people becoming actual successful at any career in life, is because they like the things Paul just mentioned. I want to get into specifically because we're talking about becoming successful. I sent you to, and I don't know if you've had time to read it. I read through a bunch of it. The actual request for proposal from New York City's economic.
Bro, when you said that, I told you. Yeah, we came home from Tanya and I came home from the grocery store, and I read that thing, and I'm like, Sean is spot on. This is fucked. This is so fucked up.
All right, so first requirements, and it's weighted, right? In the normal procurement process, they weight things that they want to be the thing they want the most, right? One of the heaviest weighted things, John, is that they must be a current grocery store operator. So the Whole Foods, you name it, pick whatever your 5 grocery stores are that are within 20 miles of you. It has to be one of those. And then they'd say, now tell us how you'll be 30% cheaper. Paul, like, what did you see in this shit? It's
Yeah.
retarded.
It was so fucking retarded, and it was clearly rife with you can't say corruption, but it was rife with, like you said, Sean, it was specifically designed for these, borough grocery stores.
Yes.
There's no way that HEB or Kroger or Brookshire's or any of the main things could even bid on this thing. It was designed for minority owned, basically bodegas, turning them into government owned grocery stores.
Yes. The other thing was we have identified 2 locations that we will lease you.
Yeah.
But the other 3 locations we have not identified yet, and we require you to bid on all 5 locations and give us what you think your costs will be, how you will provide very high income to employees with retirement and with health care, and still provide the lowest cost groceries
Right.
to the
100%.
neighborhoods.
No. Yeah. 100%, dude. And
Right?
like you said, you'd done 100 of these kind of, government RFPs where they have all this, oh to do not day in them.
Well, yeah, and a lot of my quote unquote stakeholders, right? They would tell me that this is all there wants, and I'd look at them and go, "Well, nobody's going to bid on this shit, so why
Right.
don't you back out about 80% of your requirements, douchebag?"
Yeah.
I was like,
No.
and Paul, you can appreciate this. I'd also tell them it's a request for a what? A proposal to solve your problem, government.
Right.
You need to leave it as open-ended as possible so that someone can actually come up and go, hey, wait, I've got a really fucking great idea.
Yeah.
Here's my proposal. Right? Whereas this
Yeah.
thing is scoped out to the max. Whereas I don't think, Paul, the October 6th proposal deadline, I don't think they're going to get a single proposal.
There's no way. They're not. Dude, I read over it when I got home, like I told you I would. There's no way. And that's why I say you and I need to, start some kind of, grocery chain LLC,
Dude.
file a pre-award protest. Not only do I think we would win, I think we would be awarded $150 million contract.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Honestly, and I've never had a pre-award protest go against me, but that's because I was just a dick.
Of course.
I totally believe that this one, having read the RFP, I mean, people are gonna sue the shit out of the Economic Development Corporation of New York City. That's just what's going to happen.
Right.
And the way they also, even though the Supreme Court struck down sex-based and race-based hiring, this has a women's-owned and black-owned requirement inside of it. So you're going to ask,
Right.
pick your
Exactly
biggest
right.
grocery store operator and give 20% of the contract away to somebody who's never done anything at all in retail,
Yeah.
let alone grocery,
That's right.
right? And you're going to expect them, because they're going to look at this first and say, well, I can't make any money on this. I can't even make 2%. How do you expect me to pay everybody at a 30% loss on product? right? My
Yeah.
prediction again, Paul, is 0 bids come in,
Yep.
and they open it up even farther,
Yeah.
and that's where we get
No,
into
100%, Sean. Yeah.
that's where we'll get into what John's going to start talking about, which is the NGOs. They are not allowed in this first round of this proposal, John. But NGOs, you had a thought, didn't you?
Oh, I mean, they're the ones that have the money to float this, and they have ways of securing subsidies from political sympathetic people to carry it much longer than it should ever exist.
Next topic. I think if you guys have questions, put it in the chat room. We've got watchers, we got viewers.
Yeah.
Throw it in the chat room. We can answer some of this questions from you.
Oh, awesome.
Paul and
Yeah.
I
You got stuff
are
for the
Paul
outside?
and I have total lots and lots of experience at government, contracting, RFPs, IFBs, whatever you name it. We have years and years, decades together between the two of us of this type of work. So I'll throw it in the comments, but man, I really want to get John. Can you just kind of go over the Arron and Rodgers dogging on Fauci on ESPN? Start us off there.
Well, for those of you that are interested, uh, on X, my handle is counterfeit cash, and I don't think there's too many people with that screen name. So if you search on counterfeit cash, you can find me. And let's just say that Rodgers took many arrows during the COVID era on this same Pat McAfee. He was on this same show. And people were screaming that he was trying to kill people and he didn't care about his teammates. And what about his family? And he was ostracized and turned into the COVID tar baby in NFL football, the same way that Novak Djokovic was turned into the COVID tar baby in tennis. And while I don't believe Rodgers was ever deported like Novak was, and I I'm unsure how many championships Rodgers lost because of this. He's now the same age that Novak's now the same age that Rodgers was when this all started. Go ahead, Sean.
They're all the same age as me.
Well, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. But the point was that Rodgers showed up on McAfee's show today for a victory lap. That's the only way it can be described.
Yeah.
And McAfee did his duty as an ESPN host and tried to change the subject maybe 5 or 6 times. Rodgers was having none of it. Absolutely none of it. And the Steelers fans that were gathered at training camp were roaring in the background every time Rodgers laid out Fauci and Biden and all the rest of the COVID gang who persecuted all of us and killed us and all the rest of by forcing us to take shots. The only way he could have been more eloquent would have been if he had said, you do realize that once Biden, who knew about the side effects, mandated the jab, that he increased the death rate for young working people by 40%, which is unprecedented in human history. Never happened before or since. But those were working people with careers, they were working people with families, that families were rent asunder. So the next time some leftist starts talking to you about the children, I just want you to think about what Aaron Rodgers did today. And if you want to look me up on Counterfeit Cash, give me a like and a follow. I promise you, the censors are all over me, but I am following back as quickly as I can. And all you need to do is reference this podcast, and you will get priority.
Yeah, great point. Great point on getting priority from mentioning the podcast. Because DMs on any social media network can be all kinds of crazy, and filtering through them can be
Well,
tough.
I mean, how many DMs can I get from Luna Peachy? I mean, who wants to make my dreams come true? And I'll say, well, as a man in Nigeria, how are you going to do that? Yeah, okay.
Listen, it is what it is. I got to ask you though, and I mentioned this to you in a text message earlier. I was like, I know that ESPN aired that to whoever was watching at that specific time, but I mean, you saw Dana Bash fight
RFK
Bobby
Jr.
Jr. Like I think these networks, none of them are going to actually tell their audience what really happened. They're still
Sean,
just stuck in La La Land.
Sean, Dana Bash even said the quiet part out loud. I'm not going to let you use this network to spread the truth.
She said airwaves.
Yeah,
She doesn't even know
that's right.
that
Yep.
she's an internet podcaster and is not on broadcast airwaves through an antenna.
That's right.
CNN is a podcast. Fox
Yes,
News
it
is a
is.
podcast. MSNBC is a podcast. All cable channels they are not airwaves. They are not subject to the laws, rules, and regulations of being a broadcast network.
But let me ask you this, Dana. Who are you to make that decision? Do you think you're Margaret Brennan or some other luminary of the network news? Really? How about, or are you like the reincarnation of Pokey Roberts, one of my favorites? Oh, the pursed lips every time George Will went off the reservation. Oh, yeah.
Well, I mean, I asked somebody. We were doing something last week, and I don't remember if you were there or not. It was something I was in.
You're
Uh,
doing all sorts of stuff without me.
yeah,
Anyway.
but hold on. The point I made to this room was, you guys, do you guys realize that Walter Cronkite was a total left wing loser when it came to Vietnam, and he didn't tell you what was really happening?
Yeah.
And,
I
and
mean,
everyone's like,
everybody knows
"What?
that, fake.
Walter Cronkite? You're telling me the king of news lied to me about Vietnam?" I was like, "Yeah, go back and look at all of his 20-minute, 30-minute newscast."
Yeah.
He lied about everything. And even after he retired, Sir Walter got involved in an interview where they asked him if he thought maybe he got out a little bit too early, and he said, I think I did. I really miss setting the agenda for the nation. Really?
He said
Is that what you were doing? Setting the agenda. In other words, I got my copy of the New York Times and I went through the above the page and I read that to you, and I'm setting the agenda for the nation. Yeah.
Well, that's right. If we could only have our friends on the left hear that from him,
Yeah.
and then understand that
Didn't understand what. Yeah, that's
what
right.
what, what all of these people that consider themselves news were doing was just getting headlines from everybody. They're aggregators. And they had access to them, whereas normal people didn't, because we had three channels, a couple of AM radio stations, and some newspapers. They had access to all of the ticker. And so
We
they would
were
look at it and they would determine what the news was for
was.
the day.
Yes. They were, Sean, as I said, they were setting the agenda.
Yeah. Oh, good times.
And it only started to come apart in 2004 when Cronkite's successor, a man that I affectionately refer to as the father of fake news, Dan Rather, came up with that George,
The father
George,
of fake
George
news.
W. Bush National Guard story. And within 30 minutes, Andrew Breitbart figured out that the letter that he was referring to was written with Microsoft Word, which did not exist when it was supposedly written. And just like the Wiener laptop, just like Anthony Weiner and his TikTok dick pics and all the rest of that, Breitbart was a true warrior, man. And the fact is, Breitbart, love him or hate him, he foresaw the citizen journalism that you see today. The reason that we all get our news off of X today instead of the networks is because we know we can get the straight story on X instead of having it filtered through the better sense of Nora O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan and Tony, whatever his name is, Dokapo or whatever, Dumpalump or whatever the hell his name is.
Oh, that's it. Double up. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and there's also Rachel is mad now.
Mad Cow? Yeah.
Yeah, she's mad now. I mean, but you
Yeah.
also like a lot of people, and I see this on X so often. They complain about Fox News, and I was like, "What the fuck are you watching Fox News for? Fox
And why are
News
you
has not been your friend for at least 10 years, maybe more."
And why are you complaining about it? Because you know what they are.
But they all turn it off, right? So they're
How
just
many times do they need to betray you before you know?
you just keep listening to the garbage in, right? And then now you go spew garbage out onto your social media friends
Do
because
you
you're
really
getting
think that
garbage in.
Arthel Neville and John Scott are suddenly going to have an epiphany and start telling you the truth?
I don't.
Well,
Go for it, Paul. I'd love to hear an opposing opinion because Fox News is not your friend.
They
no, Fox
suck.
News is not your friend. Oh man.
I mean, is Gutfeld funny? Fuck yeah. Is Fox News your friend? No.
No, he's the.
And Emily Compagno has a lot to offer.
Oh my God.
Kat Temp is hilarious. She's a fucking
yeah.
libertarian. Nobody wants libertarians around them. I'm dead serious. Nobody wants a libertarian around them. They believe in anarchy.
No, absolutely. No. Yeah, that's true.
But she's hilarious. Kat Temp. Hilarious. she tells people all the time. She's like, I've lost more sex parts than you could ever imagine. I know. You have to, if you know, you know. I'm not going to explain it to you.
She's just a liberal that hasn't been mugged yet.
Well, in a rush, unfortunately, that time slot has been divided up into 1,000 radio shows. Rush always famously said, libertarians are just liberals who don't know it yet.
Massey proved that.
Funny, Sean.
Massey proved that.
Yeah, well, all right. So speaking of Massey, everybody's all of a sudden 4 years too late, deciding that they don't like General Flynn anymore. Anyone want to go? I mean,
No, Sean. Where are you collecting that information?
Oh no, I saw it.
Sean.
Yeah. So, well, I've talked to you in the last 6 months about other retired generals, and I'll just text you in the background and and I'll send you a video clip and be like, "What the fuck are these douchebags doing? Why are they all like anti everything
Right.
Trump?" I'm pretty sure I've sent you some General Flynn stuff, but
No, you did. Yep.
And that being said, what I'm seeing now is all of a sudden because people have just figured out about it 3 or 4 years later.
Just maybe
General
4 years.
Flynn is just bitter that he wasn't allowed into the cabinet, that he had to serve some punishment for things he'd done, and Trump didn't fix that. Not that Trump put him there, Trump didn't fix it for him. And then he, ever since then, 3 or 4 years on, he's always been, look, see, Trump's going to cause World War 17. Trump's going to do this. We shouldn't do this as a military.
Yeah, that's right. We
General
shouldn't go
Flynn
here.
stuff. I'm not
shouldn't do
stopping
that. Yeah.
anything I'm not saying anything that's conspiracy. This is stuff he says.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the last 2 or 3 weeks, Paul, X, TikTok that I watched, not much, but TikTok that I watched, they're all like, holy crap, General Flynn's a traitor. Like, well, that's an extreme take, but did you guys not know he was totally against MAGA
Hey,
for
see,
the
Sean
last
says,
3 or
did
4
you
years? You didn't know?
Oh, that's funny, bro. Yeah,
Apparently
but
they didn't
true.
know, Paul. And
No, I got what you're saying, bro. And that's true. Good Lord have mercy.
I have no idea what baseball game John's watching, but I know John has comments.
No, I'm not watching a game. I'm recycling my bet.
Well, can you bet against Flynn?
I don't know. It really, he's upset me. He really has.
Dude.
All right. Paul, here's your chance to shine. James Hetfield's birthday was today. He turned 63. Metallica, James Hetfield.
Hetfield, yeah.
Now's your time to talk about rock and roll.
I couldn't help you there anyway.
So
yeah, I mean, obviously, John's never heard of rock and roll or Metallica.
No, I've heard of rock and roll, but you know, what can I say?
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah, you're right, JC. You're saying the right thing that needs to be said right now.
Well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate your support.
I don't know if it was James. It was really Lars Ulrich that took down Napster and told everybody, "Fuck you, pay me." Whereas James and the rest of the band were like, "We totally don't care. You're listening to us. You're bringing us a new audience. You're showing up at our concerts."
Right.
And our douchebag drummer, Lars Ulrich, that just kept saying, "Fuck you, pay me. I'm going to sue every single one of you."
Oh my God.
Downloaded one of our songs.
Yeah.
What a little prick that guy is.
Just a fucking what we call a trick bag out here.
It's amazing what the music business does to people, don't you think, Sean?
It is. And I would tell you, when you're in it on the early side, they do everything they can to convince you to get in for free. I said no twice to what's called a provisional contract, where it's basically like, we'll sign you to, whatever, Sunny Records. And if you make it, we'll totally take care of you. But if you don't make it, we don't owe you anything. And
you're screwed, right?
I laughed twice, and some of my friends that were in the several bands with me, they're like, well, no, we got to get signed. I was like, read that fucking three pieces of paper that they just sent us.
Wow.
It doesn't guarantee us anything. It guarantees them everything.
In other words, they win, you lose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they well remember. Look, I know people have their feelings about Taylor Swift, but Taylor Swift did not own her music, and so I know. But this is what a provisional
She has good taste.
what a
Anyway, go ahead.
provisional music contract is that once you start to make a little bit of noise, we're going to promote you, but we own everything you do. We own the intellectual property, which is what happened
Let me
to Swift. I'm only saying this
Wait,
because
say that again, Sean. No, say that again.
the music company that signed her owned her intellectual property. They owned all of her songs.
I thought
I'm going to
she.
let you guys
I
hash
thought
this
she
out.
did.
But
Sorry, JC. I didn't mean to
no, it's okay.
interrupt.
I'm gonna let you guys hash this out, and then
Yeah,
I'm going
because
to get it with the capstone.
I thought she had it ironclad in her contract that they didn't own her music. I thought that she
Right.
was savvier than that. Am I getting that wrong?
Oh, no. She actually, thankfully, off of uh, advertising, like selling product, she was able to make herself a billionaire and sue them to get the rights back, the intellectual property rights back to her songs. And
Oh,
I'm only
really?
using her as because it's you could look all of this up. It's a very public thing that happened,
Yeah.
but for years she didn't own the rights to any of her music, any of her art.
Like none of
Let
it?
me
None.
let me say this about her. That's the first thing I've heard about her that makes me admire her, because the other path was, and it's well known that Sean is an Indianan, and the story of another Indianan was a bitter clinger named John Cougar Mellencamp,
Oh my
who
God,
no,
JC.
no, no, who discovered the exact same things. And even though his early music was his best, when you paid to go to his concert, he would not play any of it. Like the little pissant that he was, because, well, I don't own that, so I'm not going to play that. I'm going to sing something stupid for you like Club Cherry Bomb or something else like that, which, gee, you haven't heard of that song? I can't imagine. But of course you've
It's
heard
actually,
of I
it's
Need a
actually a
Lover Who
pretty
Won't.
catchy song. I'm not saying it's good. It's catchy.
Yeah, but he wouldn't
It's
play I Need
catchy.
a Lover Who Won't Drive Me Crazy, which was the male national anthem of the United States, but he wouldn't play it. Anyway, and aside from the fact, and no, this is not just bitter memories of going to a concert and hearing that, and then realizing that when I got out on a -5 degree night that some asshole had stolen my car. Uh, I never forgot what he said, and I thought, dude, if you're talented enough, why don't you get big enough to buy those assholes out so you can get your songs back? And that's exactly what she did. So I'm going to say something nice about Taylor Swift. That was the honorable thing to do, rather than throw a little girl hissy fit and crawl into her shell and bitch about the man and everything else. Yeah, I made mistakes, but I fixed it because I got bigger than them. Good
Right.
on you, Taylor.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm not a Taylor listener. I'm not.
Oh, hell no.
I am
No, no.
totally all in for a billionaire capitalist being a billionaire capitalist and telling a record company, go fuck yourself. I'm going to sue you because you took away my livelihood.
My life. That's right. No,
Right?
I
That's
I'm
my
all in on
product.
I'm all in on
I
Taylor for
made the
that.
product. Yeah.
Hey, did you, just as an aside, gentlemen, did you ever find it interesting that Taylor spent her career telling you how she couldn't find the right person, and then she
Right.
just keeps endorsing political candidates. I mean, she's got an unbroken record. I mean, Kelsey's a moron. Kamala Harris is a dope. Biden is a senile corpse. I mean, really. But as a businesswoman, I admire her.
Oh no, yeah. Like I said, I'm not a fan of her music. I'm not a fan of her politics. What I am a fan of is that she realized in capitalism, I can recover my intellectual property,
That's
uh,
right.
and, and I have the money to do it, so I'm going to do that.
And and let me just add once again, rather than a sad sack loser like Indiana and John Mellencamp, she exerted her agency to fix it instead of just crying in her beer until the day she died like he did. Anyway,
Trivia question.
Oh,
I know it's not.
100%.
I know it's not trivia night, but trivia question. Can anyone tell me what Bruce Springsteen's "Born in the USA" is about?
he hates the United States. It's about communism, right?
No.
What is it
Paul,
about?
"Born in the USA."
Yeah.
What is that song by Bruce Springsteen, the boss, about?
I hate Bruce Springsteen. I've never followed him, and I don't give a shit.
All right, I will quickly tell the audience because we're still holding. We got enough. Springsteen wrote that song as an anti-war song. He was mad at the U.S. government for Vietnam. And you go, well, that sounds okay. But you listen to the song, and nobody that goes to his concerts, even then, knew that that's what the song was about. All
No.
born in the USA. They thought it was patriotic, where it was actually an anti-patriotic song against the U.S. government. I was born in a
So,
country
Sean,
that
I'm
is
going to ask for
constantly at war because they're the oligarchy.
I'm going to ask for half a point because the war was against communists, so he was actually a communist sympathizer.
All right. Half a point. Yeah, I got a couple more
I
things.
knew it was an anti-American diatribe. Fair
It
enough,
was, it was
right?
totally an anti-American
I
diatribe.
should get a failing grade of 50% for that. All
I
right.
listen. Well, also remember when we play trivia, the rules don't matter and the points don't count. That's the way we play. But yes, I'll give you the half point.
Fair enough. Thank you. I feel bad groveling, but every once in a while you got to do it.
Well, I mean, listen, a lot of British and Canadian artists also sing songs about how much they hate the USA, and they're popular not because nobody listens to the lyrics. It's just catchy. It's popular. It's rock, or it's modern, whatever they call the modern thing.
The human excrement known as Green Day comes to mind.
Oh, can you imagine?
Yeah,
Can you imagine when they get up and they change the words, but the audience is all singing
right.
the
Yeah.
original words in
Yeah.
the concert?
Yep.
And then they get mad. They're like, "You didn't sing the new words that says
Yeah,
fuck,
you didn't say that. Yeah, you didn't do
you
the
didn't
right.
say fuck the USA."
Yep.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, "I didn't even hear you sing it because we were all 50,000 of us were singing the regular words."
Right.
So the song
No,
that's
Green
but
Day.
and
Green
by
Day
the way, the
blows.
song that's 35 years old, Green Day.
Yeah. They blow.
You're not new. You haven't done anything new. They just want to hear bangers. You had
Yep.
bangers, but you're changing your banger songs so that you could just totally show how communist You
Yeah.
are, even though you're rich, you're
That's
one of
right.
the
They don't
oligarchs.
care. It's like, yeah,
Green
no,
Day
that's what we're
are
doing.
the oligarchs, and they're bitching.
It's like Bernie complaining stops complaining about millionaires and changes to billionaires once he's a millionaire. Yeah.
Go even farther with that, could you please? Because it's not the billionaires, it's not the trillionaires. What is Bernie really mad about? Because I know you, like, if you take like just a couple of seconds, put your thoughts together, explain Bernie Sanders for the last 40 years. I know that's in you.
Oh, well, I mean, he is the poster boy for Democrat downward mobility. The the point is that the formula in the United States that my parents programmed me on, I'm Sean, I'm sure your parents programmed you on, was go to college, get an education, get a good
Right.
job, do this,
Oh,
do that.
exactly right.
Right, right. But in the Northeast and the Eastern Seaboard, the idea was get into the Ivy League, get there, and then you can be appointed to good positions, and then you can be in the government. You can be a secretary of this. You can be a secretary of that. You can be part of the nation's elite. And the fact is we have so many uh, left wingers that have completed advanced graduate degrees. We don't have any room for more elites. In fact, the elites that we have are largely useless. They'd have been better off being plumbers or construction workers or forklift drivers or something like that, where they could actually do something productive.
Working
And
inside a grocery store that actually functions.
right, right. But what I'm really talking about is the downward mobility of the elite class. And when you don't get what you think you should have got because your gender studies degree or your women's studies master's or whatever the hell you pursued in college and paid $250,000 to $500,000 for won't pay your bills, it's somebody's fault. And that's what Mamdani and the rest of the communists have tapped into
Yeah.
is it didn't work out the way it was supposed to.
No.
I'm still in mom's basement looking at my Obama poster
Yep.
and I'm a barista
Well, but
instead
well,
of
let me see if I can push you a little bit further on this. Doesn't this really get into the human resources class of American capitalism?
well, of course it does because that's intertwined with DEI. The idea if you're going to fill out your DEI portfolio, you're going to hire the least qualified people to be the least important jobs. So you're going to grab these human resources professionals and gather your ethnic eggs in an area that's not going to hurt the operations. So you don't have to sacrifice your Italians for operations or your
No, that
Germans.
yeah, I know
Go ahead,
you're being a
Paul.
little sarcastic, JC, but that's
No, not
actually
really.
right.
Well, Paul, bring it back in with because you and I know contracting well, and bring it in. Talk a little bit about the minority development programs like MBE, DBE, WBE,
So I
VBE.
gotta tell you, there's been new guidance coming out of the Department of War.
No, 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 I like that. Tell me what it was like for the last 40 years.
Oh yeah, for the last years and years, we had good past performance. We had good CPARs. We had performed well on our contracts. And for example, on this test and evaluation contract we were doing at Fort Hood outside of Waco in Texas, we've had it for 27 years. And we've got 30 positive CPARs where the CPARs where the government goes, y'all motherfuckers are rocking. This is cool. And so every 5-year iteration, we would, we're going to dual hat this guy. You know what I mean? We did lean and reductions and stuff like that. And then 11 days before the recompete RFP came out, they said, oh, you got to be service disabled, veteran owned.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, we're going to get an attorney because you can't actually say we're a small business and now you want a service disabled small business at the last minute. So we went to our attorneys and they said, oh, yeah, they can do that. So I, Paul Gant, called my buddy who has a service disabled veteran owned small business and brought him in. We wrote the proposal and we won the recompete day before yesterday.
Well, which is awesome for your company. Oh, but if everybody who was listening just heard what they had to do,
right,
to win a contract, you got to
win a contract. Yeah.
Wait, what the fuck?
So, even though I worked for a small, how much work went into. I mean, theoretically, we could not get the teaming agreement solidified before the proposal was due. So what are we supposed to fucking do? So I went back to the government a couple of times and I said,
hey, I got questions.
Dude, we've been performing this contract better than anybody. I understand you have socioeconomic guidelines you got to meet. I've got a service disabled guy that's going to help us, but you can't tell me you want this and this and this and that and this and that and this and that by this weekend.
Well, and technically, all of that the requesting goes against the Civil Rights Act. In somewhere in the 1980s, it goes all totally. It's illegal. It's unlawful. It's unconstitutional. But that's what they've been putting on businesses to get contracts since the late 70s all the way to 2026 today.
And when someone talks about the professionalization of human resources, that's exactly what they're talking about. There's nothing professional about it. I've owned companies. I've been involved in small companies, and the CFO, the accountant can handle that stuff. But the fact is, when you're trying to fill out your DEI portfolio, when you get to sufficient size, you have to bring in these zombies who try to tell you what to do. That's the state of the nation.
What? So JC, I got to say that's a yes and a no for me.
Okay.
Yeah, I think, yes, there's a big part of that, where leadership hires the good old boys and, they bring in their guys that they went to West Point together or they went to Wharton School of Business together. You know what I mean? They look out for each other. Just like you and I would if we were going out on an adventure or, me and Sean or you and me and Sean or whatever.
But, I've got your six, Paul. You know that. Yeah, we're good.
But, that's a natural thing, but that doesn't. It's hard to say. That's not.
Well, Paul, are you trying to? Only because I've been in it so long. Like these requirements are unrealistic.
And let me just say before Sean continues that in retail pharmacy, he's been in the belly of the beast, man. That's where the rubber hits the road. That's the worst of the worst.
I spent a decade there. Paul.
Big corporate pharmacy. That's the worst. Anyway.
I guess what I'm trying to say is that first, they're unconstitutional. I can explain all of that. Anybody wants to ask me how it's totally and
Yeah.
completely unconstitutional. I can, but Paul and I, and even John, in some instances, have lived through this, and they put this arbitrary monetary
Right.
goal on you're going to give a specific minority this set amount of dollars if you
Right.
want to win this contract. Right,
Exactly
Paul?
right. Yep.
That's called the price of admission.
It is. And the goal isn't set by anything
Yeah.
that's actually realistic. The goal is literally just set by like, hey, we looked around and we promise we looked around and we're going to build this 7-mile stretch of road. And we found that you could put 40% minority workers to work doing this road all it boils down to, literally, there's only about like 3 companies that would be about 3% of the total dollar spend work. And so they have to ramp that up and say, well, we're going to give these companies 40% of the work. You know how many people they employ?
We get 3% of the money.
Three on all 3 of the companies they put in. And you know what they do? They stand out there and they hold the stop sign or the yield sign.
Right. The other angle
And
is
wait. Now I'm even more mad because how is that even helping the minority communities? Do they really want to be out there holding a road sign and turning it left and
the way
right?
to help them more is to repeal Davis-Bacon, which they will not do.
No, that's totally true, but there's more to this.
You have to pay union prevailing wage, but that's obviously another discussion. But you can't compete unless you're willing to hire illegals, which they all are. All right. Anyway.
No, totally. You're totally right on Davis-Bacon, Paul. Davis-Bacon. Does that work for you if you got a contract in Louisiana, but you're paying Delaware Davis-Bacon prices?
Yeah, it's just insane.
Yeah. So Sean, what we do is we account for that and we put it into our strategic pricing. And so far it's worked out for us. Yeah.
Right. And then what it does is it costs the government extra money.
Right. It costs the government extra and they don't seem to give a shit.
And you as the employer, you can't pay you as the employer, can't pay any more per hour. So you put it into fringe benefits. It goes into their 401k while they're on that contract for 6 months or 2 years.
Right. Exactly right. Yep.
And they get a fat 401k at the end of their 40 years. But I mean, it's just the system is that far broken away from capitalism when it comes to government contracting. Nobody is really looking for best price, best value, and which is a great way to contract.
So now with the Air Force and that kind of stuff, they're going with HTRO, highest technically acceptable, reasonable offer. And so that's basically the same as
best value, best price, best value.
Yeah, that's supposed to be on the best value continuum, but it's really not.
Well, of course, it's certainly not. Maybe maybe a little bit closer.
Yeah, maybe.
And listen, Papa Trump, if you're out there, let me dodge the fuck out of federal government procurement. I can totally fix it. And I got some friends right here with me on this podcast that could totally help me fix procurement. The problem with government procurement is that money has never been the issue.
Of course not.
If
money's no object.
Then you can make all of the contracting competitive.
Right, competitive, yeah.
Right.
I have to admit, though, if money is no object, I'd much rather support the yen with euros than with dollars.
Well, we're running out of time, but if you want to
All right.
explain that, you're welcome to.
All I can tell you is that guy, this Treasury Secretary is the best
It's
Treasury
bad.
Secretary we've had since Alexander Hamilton. I mean, there's no question. And they all say that I'm some kind of homophobe. The hell I am. I hate the militant dykes of the WNBA, but I absolutely love Scott Besson. And I'd have him to Thanksgiving dinner. So you can suck on that.
I don't care about
Tell the truth, JC.
I could care less.
It's really hard to get me to get out with it, Paul. I know.
All right, thanks, fellas. Listen, I had a really good time.
Right.
I know this was a pop-up, but
It was, but I really enjoyed it. It was great.
That was good.
we ran over the hour.
Paul, I'm glad you got your sound straightened out.
Yeah. Sound good. Look good.
All right. Bye-bye.
I mean, listen, I don't know who did your hair and makeup, but man, you look good.
You shut up.